Hamilton Day. Need I say more? I mean, I probably know what you're thinking, right? How does a bastard, orphan, son of a... Wait, no, not that. You're probably wondering, why do I have all of my stuffed animals and a blanket? And I'll tell you, friends, it's because I saw the track list for today, and... yeah, Stay Alive Reprise is on the schedule for today. I need to pick all these up, but here's the intro. Welcome back, friends, and a special welcome to all the new friends out there. I'm YoBGS, and yeah, it was getting too hot to hold all the stuffed animals, but I think Hamilton is gonna be spicing up today because we've got 3 songs, and just looking at the titles has me nervous. Blow Us All Away is 1, Stay Alive Reprise is number 2, and then it's Quiet Uptown. And not to mention, a lot of you have been in my comments, and I can tell you're just basically that gif of Michael Jackson eating popcorn in the theater, because you know that something's in the works here, and that has got me on guard. If you dug that intro, by the way, and if you like what I'm doing, please make sure to subscribe. I've got a lot of original, non-reaction stuff in the works, and if you think that stuff's kind of funny, then you're gonna like what I've got. Now, we are at the end of Burn here. Gonna be getting started with Blow Us All Away, and I'm just gonna let it rip.
Meet the latest graduate at King's College. I probably shouldn't brag, but dag, I'm amazed and astonished. The scholars say I got the same virtuosity and brains as my pops. The ladies
all
say
right,
my
I'm liking, okay, so this is better. I mean, that's an interesting spot to pause, but this is already better out of the gate than I was hoping, because, you know, where we've left, Alexander's in a bit of a broken home, and Eliza is literally lighting the world on fire at the moment. So to see that the young Hamilton is doing pretty well is, right, Philip, right? See that Philip is doing well is kind of not what I was expecting. So I'm with it for now.
I'm only 19, but my mind is older. Gotta be my own man, like my father, but bolder. I showed it.
He wants to be like his father, but he went to the exact same college to get himself a whole new realm of knowledge.
His legacy with pride. I used to hear him say that someday I would blow us all away. Ladies are looking for Mr. George Eaker. Made a speech last week.
Heck
I
yeah.
was 4th of July speaker. He disparaged my father's legacy in front of a crowd. I can't have that. I'm making my father proud.
I saw him just up Broadway, a couple of blocks. He was going to see a play.
Well, I go visit his box.
One of these two, I swear I've seen them before. I just don't know if that's because in Act 1 they were around, or if there's a deeper significance to that. Also, what's with the accordion? Everybody gets their own kind of vibe in this song, and it's funny, like, Philip's almost got a Pirates of the Caribbean sort of vibe.
Y'all look pretty good in your frocks. How about when I get back, we all strip down to our socks?
Are we sure he's not Hercules' son?
George!
I'm trying to watch the show.
You should have watched your mouth before you talked about my father, though.
I didn't say anything that wasn't true. Your father's a scoundrel, and so it seems to you.
It's like that?
Yeah, I don't fool around. I'm not your little schoolboy
We'll
friend.
see you on the dueling ground.
Okay. That's gonna be a bit of a thing. Also, but then again, how many duels were actually answered back in the day? And I know I'm pausing in the middle of a verse. I apologize. I'll go back so we get the flow again. But scoundrel did used to classically mean like philanderer, right? Like in the very literal sense of the word. So, I mean, how do you, again, defamation has to be false for it to be a problem. So you can't really say that Eaker is doing something wrong here, because
Say anything that wasn't true. Your father's a scoundrel, and so it seems to you.
It's like that?
Yeah, I don't fool around. I'm not your little schoolboy friend.
We'll see you on the dueling ground. That is unless you want to step outside and go now.
I know where to find you. Piss off. I'm watching the show now.
Fair? Probably a good play.
Pops Pops, if you had only heard the shit he said about you, I doubt you would have let it slide, and I was not about to.
Slow down.
I came to ask you for advice. This is my very first duel. They don't exactly cover this subject in boarding school.
Did your friends attempt to negotiate a peace?
He refused to apologize. We had to let the peace talk cease.
Where is this happening?
Across the river in Jersey. Everything is legal in New Jersey.
You gotta love just the random like asides thrown in there. But there's also a very good point here about the the combat hardened veteran versus the guy who got his title because he finished a certain level of schooling, right? You hear about this in the military, you know? Did you earn your stripes through books or did you earn it through experience? And not knowing much about this Eaker guy, if he has experience, this is not gonna bode well for our friend here.
Right. So this is
especially when you take into account that Philip and Lawrence are played by the same actor, and you all have told me that these actors have a lot of connective tissue from Act 1 to Act 2.
This is what you're gonna do. Stand there like a man until Eaker is in front of you. When the time comes, fire your weapon in the air. This will put an end to the whole affair.
What if he decides to shoot? Then I'm a goner.
No, he'll follow suit if he's truly a man of honor. To take someone's life, that is something you can't shake. Philip, your mother can't take another heartbreak.
Father.
Promise me? You don't want this young man's blood on your conscience.
Okay, I promise.
Come back home when you're done. Take my guns. Be smart. Make me proud, son.
My name is Philip. I am a poet. And I'm a little nervous, but I can't show it.
This beat is so familiar to me, and I can't place where it's from, but I'm hoping someone will let me know in the comments, because I know somebody knows what I'm talking about, like ding ding ding. It's almost like a sampling of Under Pressure. Listen again. Is that like dun 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 dun?
When you're done, take my guns. Be smart. Make me proud, son.
My name is Philip. I am a poet.
Nah, it's a little different.
I'm a
Never
little
mind.
nervous, but I can't show it. I'm sorry, I'm a Hamilton with pride. You talk about my father, I cannot let it slide. Mr. Eaker, how was the rest of your show?
I'd rather skip the pleasantries. Let's go. Grab your pistol.
Confer with your men. The duel will commence after we count to 10. Count to 10. Look 'em in the eye, aim no higher. Summon all the courage you require. And slowly and clearly aim your gun towards...
Oh, God. I'm pausing here. I know you're going to be mad. I don't care. It's my channel. Delibird? No, Cheshire Cat. Cheshire Cat. Lin-Manuel Miranda is more of a Cheshire Cat kind of guy. We'll get in here.
Sky.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
On 7? On 7?
Where's my son?
Mr. Hamilton, come in. They brought him in a half an hour ago. He lost a lot of blood on the way over. Yes.
Crap! And this is the era where they're just gonna chop body parts off. Because modern medicine at the time was not very good. I cope with tragedy by joking. Did you notice how the scene where he's slowly falling looks like the GTA Wasted screen? You didn't before, you do now.
But you have to understand, the bullet entered just above his hip and lodged in his right arm.
Can I see him, please?
I'm doing everything I can. But the wound was already infected when he arrived.
How long did it take him to get there if it was already infected?
As you said, Pa, I held my head up high.
I know you did everything just right.
Even before we got to 10, I was aiming for the sky.
I know. I know, save your strength and stay alive.
Is he breathing? Is he going to survive this? Who did this?
You're already in black, so probably not. And I couldn't couldn't really. I had my assumptions that somebody was obviously going to venture into the great beyond here, shed the mortal coil, as it were. But I couldn't exactly put a trigger warning at the beginning because I didn't know. And like a dingus, I record my intros ahead of time. But the point I'm laboring towards is that there is a YouTuber who, in the last week or so, has made international headlines. And he had a pretty big impact on all of the lives of a good chunk of the people who, were here in the early days of this channel. I'm talking about Technoblade. And so to see this in the shadows of that, and again, having lost people close to me, it really sucks. And that's putting it lightly, but all right, I've stalled long enough. We're getting back into it.
Did you know?
Mom, I'm so sorry for forgetting what you taught me.
My son,
We played piano.
I taught you piano.
You would put your hands on mine.
You changed the melody every time.
I would always change the line.
I know.
I would always change the line.
I know.
Philip was a... Oh, that looks great. Looking at the subtitle. Philip was a victim of his father's survivor bias. If you've ever heard of that. It's a thing. I suck right now. I'm not looking at the camera. Bad eye contact. But survivor bias is this thing where, like, rich people will say, just do what I did. Just stick to the Sigma grind set and you'll be fine. Because it worked for them, right? So Alexander raised Philip with the same principles that got Alexander to where he is. But what you don't see in all of this is the, 20, 50, hundreds of prospective Alexander Hamiltons that didn't have their story go exactly the way his did, so they didn't end up in the same position. And because Philip is not his dad, going about things the way that his father would, ended very poorly for him. How would you be Philippa Sue's significant other in the crowd? I never understood how you could watch someone you love, even though it's acting, break down so hard and not want to rush the stage.
Words don't reach. There is suffering too terrible to name. You hold your child as tight as you can and push away the unimaginable. The moments when you're in so deep, it feels easier to just swim down. The Hamiltons move uptown and learn to live with the unimaginable.
Spend hours.
How did duels work back then? Because I am aghast that Alexander did not go to this Eaker guy's house and French Revolution style put his head on a stick. He doesn't seem, but again, I guess at this point, maybe he's starting to lose some of the fire that made him who he was. Like this, spending hours in the garden. I'm sure we're going to learn. He's not a man to let something like this pass quietly.
In the garden, I walk alone to the store, and it's quiet uptown. I never liked the quiet before. I take the children to church on Sunday, a sign of the cross at the door, and I pray. That never used to happen before.
If you see him in the street, walking by himself, talking to himself.
And he has it's wild because now, yeah, you see where they're saying have pity. It's wild because he's lost all of the fire that he built up throughout the musical. Remember at the beginning, I said, he was kind of timid. He was a little bit starstruck. He didn't really know where he was going. And now, for a different set of circumstances, he's in the same spot. He didn't really know where he's, like, he is just mentally completely gone. And he's almost back to where he was at the beginning, right? The kid who had nothing and almost had to rely on people's help. Now they're pitying him much in the same way, but again, for different circumstances.
Philip, you would like it uptown. It's quiet uptown.
He's working through the unimaginable.
His hair is gone gray. He passes every day. They say he walks the length of the city.
You knock me out, I fall.
Can you imagine?
No. And his wife is gone too.
Look at where we are. Look at where we started.
That
I know I don't
unflinching.
deserve you, Eliza, but hear me out. That would be enough.
Unblinking. I watched her this whole time. The cold stare that is both warranted and deserved. Just... You feel... It's like... Putting aside that whole founding of the United States thing, all of their lives are almost worse than they were where they started.
If I could spare his life, if I could trade his life for mine, he'd be standing here right now.
Is she gonna
and
punch
you would
him?
Smile, and that would be enough. I don't pretend to know the challenges we're facing. I know there's no replacing what we've lost, and you need time, but I'm not afraid. I know who I married. Just let me stay here by your side.
It's those little acting things, too, that make so much of this so genius. She's very slowly starting to break. And as you watch him and his lines in the shots with the two of them, you can just see, like, the cracks are slowly starting to form. I don't know, but here's the thing. I don't know yet if it's going to be she's going to snap and get, pissed, or if she's going to forgive him. Nobody should have to suffer that way. That's what's so hard about, like, being people, right? Nobody should have to suffer the way Alexander is there, but he did it to himself. So what do you do?
That would be enough.
You see him in the street, walking by your side, talking by your side, have pity.
Eliza, do you like it uptown? It's quiet uptown.
He is trying to do the unimaginable.
Live is unimaginable for him now.
Taking in the sights of the city.
Look around, Eliza.
They are trying to do the unimaginable.
There are moments that the words don't reach. There's a grace too powerful to name. We push away what we can never understand. We push away the unimaginable. They are standing in the garden.
Interesting, too, that Angelica has sort of taken... Well, and I guess she does this more in the relationship parts, but Angelica takes over as the narrator. The spots that Burr would normally be in are now sort of filled by Angelica, who is, by the way, just destroying this performance.
Alexander by Eliza's side. She takes his hand. It's quiet uptown.
Forgiveness. Can you imagine? Forgiveness.
that's the other thing. Eaker did not follow the rules of decency, right? He fired on 7, which I would argue, and I'm no attorney. Let me make sure this fades to the thunderous applause here. Again, warranted and deserved there. I don't want to spoil any of what's next for me, but I would argue that by firing your pistol before the count of 10, this then goes from a legal duel into a murder, and as such should be adjudicated appropriately. Who knows? Maybe it was, right? Like, I don't know. Is that like a piece of fuzz on me or something? But anyway, that is a lot. There's so much there to process, and I hope that's the worst. I hope, and like, as a reaction channel, and thanks if you're still here, by the way, please consider subscribing, but it sucks as a reaction channel when you're just sitting there with your head in your hands, because it's so sad that what the hell are you supposed to do? How do you say anything about that in any type of meaningful way other than just letting yourself be crushed? And that was the case there, and I'm excited for what's next. I'm a little bummed that we're coming up on, the end of Hamilton slowly but surely. But I am excited for what's next. I'm excited for what's next for this channel, and I appreciate you for being here. Again, take care, my friends. Subscribe if you're new, and I will see you for the next one.